Italy has become the last major country in Western Europe to approve gay civil unions. The Italian government finally approved a bill to allow gay civil unions after a long, bitter debate between the Catholic Church and Prime Minister Matteo Renzi. However, many of the protections that heterosexual married couples get, most notably allowing for the adoption of children to the parents of the now recognized gay couple, will not be permitted. Now, as the head of the Rainbow Families Association, Marilena Grassadonia, put it, this government will go down in history not for having passed the first law on gay unions, but for having denied children their family rights. So it's a little bit of a hollow win, as some are calling it. Some are calling it a glass half empty kind of a win. There was this battle between the Catholic Church, between the Vatican, obviously, and the Prime Minister of Italy, Matteo Renzi. It seems that the Prime Minister came out. He's declared it a victory day, a day of celebration for those who finally feel recognized. And Italy is the last major, as they describe it, country in Western Europe to recognize gay civil unions. But the fact that they haven't given the same kind of benefits, when you think about the children in particular, what we're talking about here is the biological child of a parent who is now in a gay civil union that is legally recognized. That child will no longer, will not be allowed to necessarily have the right to just go to that couple. They will probably be reverted back to the other biological parent in the family. So it is a sad day in a way for the families who have children, who perhaps are used to living as a unit. It will still be a long and bitter fight for those children, but certainly I suppose a step in the right direction, at least to legally recognize gay unions, and the last major country in the West to do so.
Right. The European Court of Human Rights really had given the Italian government where else to go, no room to play with, because they'd been roundly condemned and actually had been formally condemned by the European Court of Human Rights for failing to address civil unions and same-sex marriage and same-sex unions. So for the Prime Minister of Italy to be crowing about it and saying that it's a great day is something, and to Joe's point, is a little bit hollow, because he had no other option. He was all played out in terms of trying to obfuscate on the issue. Clearly, it doesn't go far enough, and clearly it's not in line with the majority of other countries in the West and other leading Western European countries. And it would seem to be that it's this interplay, again, the politicization of the religious point of view, and the Pope obviously having an overarching impact and continuing to do so, both in terms of direct impact and also just in terms of the socio acceptance and acceptability, because it's the last vestiges of the Catholic Church are continuing to impact on people's decision making, on the political landscape, and on how comfortable people can get with same-sex marriages. And the Pope has been pretty, as socially progressive as he is, or has people perceive him to be, he's been pretty absolute in terms of condemning same-sex marriage.
Well, this was a heavy majority vote. What we're talking about here is 372 to 51 voting for it, and huge celebrations at the Trevi Fountain, for example, as you imagine, with all the rainbow flags. But it is so historic given the fact that obviously Italy is a very Catholic country with the Pope, with the Vatican, and the Vatican has provided the resistance to this, despite the fact that the Pope is very liberal, and we are seeing more liberal, more relaxed views from the Pope when it comes to gay people, LGBTQ rights in general. They still were not willing to conform. They wanted to oppose the legal recognition of that. So it still is a very historic day for Italy, given the fact that it is such a predominantly Catholic country and the last major country in the West in Western Europe, to recognize gay civil unions. But a bit of a bittersweet win for those who have a child in the family.